All right, we are in the countdown and we're now live. Merry Christmas, ladies and gentlemen. Happy Wednesday evening and happy Merry Christmas to you. Happy Merry Christmas. Is that redundant or is that uh, just me not having enough words in my head? So, happy Merry Christmas. I want to thank you for being here. This was just an impromptu thought. I had mentioned yesterday and a couple of days ago that I might try to do something on Christmas night because, something I noticed was that no matter how much family gathering you have, matter how much is going on, it always seems around 8 o'clock, between 8 and 10 o'clock, things really seem to start winding down for the day. Everybody's worn out, everybody's feasted out, everybody's gifted out. And it's time to either drive back home from a relative's house or a friend's house, or time to pack it all in at home, or to send the guests away and wrap things up for the day. And you sit there in the evening on Christmas and you say, wow, it's suddenly quiet. And sometimes I found that I would go to my computer or years ago and look for stuff to do, listen for radio shows on the radio rather than a podcast or YouTube or anything like that, which didn't really exist at the time. And it was always nice to have a nice lonely night after the busyness leading up to today. And well, let me ask you, is there anybody out there who maybe didn't have much going on today? You were home alone, or you went out and tried to find a Chinese food restaurant, like in A Christmas Story. The dog ate the turkey or the ham or the roast beef or whatever you were having, and go to try to find an open restaurant, and all you could find was a Chinese restaurant. And which, I got nothing wrong with Chinese restaurant. I happen to be very partial to Chinese buffet, but you got to find the right one. And then finding it open on Christmas is even more difficult sometimes because you're looking for a place to relax. And if you're alone, you're looking for a place to get alone. I used to go all the time when I was married to my ex-wife. She would take off with my kids all the time when they were babies, and I'd have lots of times where I had lonely nights, quiet nights, and I'd go grab a good book and I'd go down to and we're talking 28, almost 28 years ago, 27, 26 years ago. I'd either stay at my office in uptown Minneapolis late at night and do stuff. There was no social media back then, so I wasn't sitting on the internet. We're talking 1992, 93, 94, in that area. And there were times where just being in uptown Minneapolis, walking down to the Vietnamese restaurant there or some other place was always a great way to take up the time. And then there were times on holidays. I didn't have a lot of rough holidays, but we've all gone through our lonely moments, our dark, what's the phrase I'm looking for? The darkness of the soul, the lonely times, the times that get you. And it was always nice to find out that there was somebody else out there, either to listen to on the radio or to call on the phone. Some of you may know Scott Grunwald. He's in the paranormal world. And I remember we weren't really close, but we had met each other at an event somewhere along the way, and got along okay. And I remember one night on social media, this is back in 1998, I want to say it was, not 98, I'm sorry, 2008, maybe 2009. And he put out a little message. He said, hey, if anybody's up and around, give me a call. So I got nothing to do, and I'd love to talk to somebody. And it was late night, and probably around midnight. And I grabbed his phone number and I thought, why not? And so I gave him a call on the cell phone. I think he was surprised that somebody actually called him. And we sat and talked for a couple of hours. And that's where we hit it off and we forged our friendship, which has lasted, 10 years now. So, um, that's kind of why I thought this might be nice to do this. Maybe that's an amalgam of lots of different kinds of things, but saying on Christmas night, after the festivities have gone, or after perhaps a day doing nothing, it's nice to hear a friendly voice. And I hope that you would qualify mine in that category as a friendly voice. Now, we had a very quiet day today. We did our Santa stuff. My daughter, Abby, one of my twin daughters, my eldest, 27 years old, and she came up for the holidays. And so she was here yesterday and this morning, yesterday morning, I'm sorry, and the night before. And so we did a little early Christmas with her and the kiddos and her brothers and sisters here. And then we did our own Christmas this morning. We've got Ellie, our youngest, our 5-year-old, is a little under the weather, bronchitis or something that's been acting up. And so she wasn't feeling too hot. So we didn't go anywhere today. And we just sat around the house. We watched movies. The kids got some iPads for Christmas. And so we were trying to get those all tuned in for them and spent most of the day wrestling with that stuff back and forth. And so they had a good day. And Patch, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah, you actually came into my mind through all of this. So we had a rather quiet day today. Rainey and I binge watched the second season of Lost in Space, which is really actually a very good series. I grew up on the original, of course, which is a little campier science fiction. And this new series is lightly touches on the original story. Let's put it that way. So we enjoyed that today. We binge watched that whole season today, Rainey and I. I think it was 8 episodes, or either 8 or 10. So there you got 8 to 10 hours of viewing time in between since 7:30 this morning when the kids were up and wanting to open presents. And we cooked and did our stuff and we hung around the house and it was kind of nice. And that's what we did today. And about an hour ago, I said, you know what? I think I'm going to go on live. I said I would, and I think I will. So here I am. And so I hope you had a wonderful day, everyone out there, and that you got to do the things you wanted to do. And if you didn't, if there are holes, if there are gaps in what you would like to have happen for today, just the closeness of others, things like that. Hopefully you can find a little refuge here tonight with this intrepid family, and let's just talk a little bit. Although I'm not set up to take calls, or I'd have you call in. But we got the live chat room over here on my right column. Maybe it looks like my left column to you guys when you're looking at it, but on my computer, it's on the right. And so hopefully you had a good day and you're going to enjoy just sitting here for a little bit. Morgan Snow, sipping on a punch bowl with my adult kids, having fun. Now that's good. Walter Ray, you had half a sub with your dog. It's been alone for the past few years and feeling the darkness of my soul. Man, I hear that, Walter. I understand it. The dark. What is that called, folks? Why am I slipping on a word there? Maybe my brain is tired today, but the dark something of the soul, the dark night of the soul. That's it. That's all it was. And so, Walter, if you're feeling that tonight, little dark night of the soul, a little quietness, a little loneliness. Hopefully, everybody here can help you with that tonight. And same with you, Patch. I know you got stuff going on. That's your business and not mine to publicize. But a little loneliness going on there as well. This isn't just for people who are lonely, but I hope that it helps having this to turn to tonight. There you go. I don't even know what to say about that. That's why that comes out so funny and funky. I don't know what to say about that exactly, because I don't want to I'm not saying this little live program is just catering to the lonely, but I know some of you out there are. And I know some of there out you have holes in your heart. Some of you out there miss people that were once here and that aren't here anymore. And then some of you have a wonderfully festive time. I look at my brother Rocky. Look at the stuff he does with his family, that huge Italian family. And if you saw the pictures online today, that's a big thing for them, all these holiday gatherings. And I look at my friend John Ward over in Sweden. I didn't see too much coming from him today, but I know that they do it upright as well. And so many of us have we have families, we have people, we have stuff that we do, but sometimes there's that little quietness that slips in, that's maybe not invited. And some of you out there that experience that. So here we are. And I hope I'm not losing anybody. I just saw my number go down a little bit for viewers. I thought maybe this isn't what they thought it would be, or maybe not their cup of tea tonight to talk about this stuff. Maybe we'll get a little more festive. Maybe we'll do a couple of readings tonight. We'll see how things go. I don't know what my head's feeling like here, but we'll get into it a little bit. And I'll let you know if we're going to go there. And so does anybody out there, you're in the chat room, you can't call in, but to tell us some of your stuff and I'll read it off here. I know, Patch, you had a great pot roast. That's fantastic. I love pot roast. I almost like it. I like it better than ham, but I love turkey. Love a good turkey. Sometimes in the middle of June or July, you know what I like to do? Go get a big, huge 26-pound turkey and make the big special stuffing. I like to dice up apples and do up sage sausage and chop that all up and throw it all into a stuffing mix and, put some onions in there and maybe even some water chestnuts and things like that and explode the hell out of that bird with a stuffing like that. And I like to do the whole spread in the summertime sometimes to remind ourselves, hey, this is what we did at Thanksgiving or Christmas. And this year we didn't do either this year. My wife took the kids and went up to her parents or her grandparents and her moms. And I was here. It was nice to have an alone day on Thanksgiving. And today we were all kind of here just doing our thing today. So, and we didn't cook big. Merry Christmas, Queen Slatina Broadcasting. Nice to see you there. Patch says he feels himself getting fatter. Well, if it's only one day a year you do that, or maybe two, you're okay. The stuffing and the mashed potatoes and the gravy, Walter. Yeah, it's good stuff. Sometimes I know when I always had family around, but when I was a single dad of my first three kids, and my three kids were home with me, and I was sole custodial dad, we'd have our quiet times, not necessarily on holidays all the time, but we sometimes would do up the spread, and we'd invite people to come over. We'd invite friends. I always liked Thanksgiving time to invite people who didn't have a place to go. And so my kids were all for that as they were growing up. So we always opened our door for that. I always kept my patches. Yeah, I'm trying to lose 50 would be good. Yeah, I could probably lose 50 or 60 pounds right now to get where the charts say I'm supposed to be. But hey, it'd be nice to have a six-pack. I don't know. We'll see if I can pull that off anymore. Alexandros says, if I had extra money, I'd send everyone a Greek spinach pie. Alexandros, I love Greek food. We used to live in Detroit for about 2.5 years, almost 3 years. I lived in Detroit, and we used to go down to Greek Town and eat a lot at the new Parthenon Cafe down there. But that's back, you're talking the early 90s, back when I was doing that. So haven't had good Greek food since. And the Greek Quarter in downtown Detroit was pretty good. And let's see, I'm going to go a little backwards on the chat room here. Let's just see what's going on. Walter, you said you could only watch It's a Wonderful Life and Christmas Story so many times before resorting to cattle rustling westerns and depression. Yeah, I hear that. Frankly, I haven't watched either of those in years. I overdosed on them a long time ago, and not my favorite. What are your guys' favorite Christmas movies? I'm trying to think if I even have a favorite Christmas themed movie. I got a lot of songs that are Christmas songs that are favorites, but I don't know about Christmas movies. I'd have to think about that one. Is Die Hard, isn't that a Christmas movie? Took place at Christmas, right? Let's see. You stayed home at FB and chatted, says Patch. General Sow and a hot and sour soup, says Patch. Yeah, that's a good Christmas dinner sometimes. And let's see what else we got going on here. Let's see. Sterling, Macabre Menace. You said you grew up celebrating Christmas, but now it's just another day of the month. It's Saturnalia. Happened to fall on the day off this year. And so the New Year's holiday is a big event for you. Audrey, you binged Lost in Space season 2 last night. Pretty good, wasn't it? Let's see. Delaney wishes everybody a happy Festivus, everyone. Maybe that's Latin or something. I'm just reading it wrong. Happy Festivus, everyone. Let's see. Alexandros, 100%, 22, and 19-year-old daughters already understand dad doesn't do holidays, religion, church, sports team, politics. They do their thing, and I like this. You comfort a great state of mind in my small space. You're a monk unto yourself. I get that. I understand that. There are times, believe it or not, for a man who has 6 children, you'd think that I'd be gregarious all the time. So there are times I really like my private time, my quiet time. So it's nice when my wife takes the kids and goes up for a day to her mom's or her grandma's or something like that. So it's nice to be alone. It's like that old song, it's good to be lonely every now and again. To be parted from the ones you adore, to sit at a table for 2 all alone and take a look at the world around you. With people who have no one to go home to, some with no place to belong, others consumed by their weakness, and another when weak seems so strong. It's an old Wayne Watson song. Let's see. Audrey's got to run. She's always heading home during one of our shows. Long drive and it's raining. And she loves her intrepid family. I'll give my love to Rainey. Let's see. Patch says, I got it all but happiness. You guys and your friendship has helped. Well, that's fantastic. Glad you're finding that here, brother. Let's see what else we got going on. Reading through, let's see. Other than some of us talking about getting fatter and stuff like that, just talking about good food. Let's see. Santa Claus. Who said Santa Claus? Morgan Snow. Santa Claus for the last couple of years. Rocky Stucci Media is here. Debbie Does Santa is fantastic, he says. There you go. There's the mood breaker. Rocky Stucci. And good to see you, Rocky. From the looks of it, Rocky, you had a pretty good couple of days. Yeah, so many spinoffs of A Christmas Carol. I just saw a new one, Walter. I believe it's, I want to say it's Netflix or maybe it's Amazon. Maybe it's Hulu. No, I can't remember. But it was with Guy Pearce playing Scrooge. And a very good cast. Really different twist on the story without adulterating Dickens too much. So good stuff. Is Electra in the room? I see somebody saying hello to Electra. How you doing? Let's see. What else we got going on? Click, beautiful. This Alexandros. Amanda B, nice to see you. Merry Christmas, chat room. Let's see. Is it Easter yet in Australia? I know you guys' time zone is way off from ours. So what is it? It's tomorrow already. Oh, that's right. I think you're 14 hours ahead of me, and it's 9:20 here. So I think it's 11:20 in the morning in the part of Australia where Amanda B is. So and it rained, she says. Well, it's a summery down there, isn't it? Gets hot down there this time of year. So Electra needs some positive healing energy from the Intrepids. I'm glad you're here. I think sometimes we may not feel individually like we have that to give, but when you put it all together collectively, I think we can put it out there. So, Electra, thinking about you. And let's see. Amanda, it rained. It's all Christmas and woohoo for Amanda. And lots of love your way, she says. And so, anybody else? What else you got going on? I came in with just nothing to talk about. Just to talk a little bit about Christmas, to talk a little bit about how your day was. If it was a good day, let us know. If it was a crappy day, let us know. It's good to hear. Just share that all with us. Melanie says, don't do Christmas, but love a tree and lights. Favorite movies? Love Actually. That's a good one. And About a Boy. My daughters started me on Love Actually. That's a pretty darn good movie. I like that. And they all watch it at Christmas time. And let's see. What else? Ruth brought Italian wedding soap to a sick friend in the hospital today. What's the difference between Italian soap? Is that like you wash it, you wash your hands, you go, hey, I'm clean. Hey, I'm a clean. So Amanda B, kids are happy, the main thing. I was alone with my youngest and his father forgot to come and get him. Oh, that's a little devastating. I have been there, Amanda B. Remember, I've said I had custody of my children when they were younger, and I remember their mother was. You'd think she was dependable. She's a very smart person, savvy, all of that, but a little mixed up. And there were times where she so wanted to have her way on things that she'd leave without the kids or drive off. She'd do some things like that. And without getting in there and bad-mouthing her too badly, just suffice it to say, Amanda, I've seen that kind of thing go on before. My son, Sam, who is now he'll be 19 in about a week, maybe 2 weeks. He, one day, his mother had him for a couple of days. And she was supposed to have him for a week, and she came and dropped him off at my door. All I heard was the front door open and go, no, the doorbell, because the front door was locked. I went, and there's my 9-year-old son standing at the front door crying with his book bag from school. Said his mom picked him up from school and just drove him up here and dropped him off at my house. And so that's tough on kids. When they see, adults, we can get it. We can understand it. We can soak that stuff up sometimes. We can look at the other parent and go, what are you thinking? Or, hey, is there a problem? Can I help you out with anything? But when they become non-communicative, when the dads ditch on them, or the moms ditch on them, in my case, this is why I think my kids and I grew up so close. So I'm sorry to hear that. Let's see. Santa was good. Mama did good this year, she says. Just have words to wankers, if you know any. That's a good way to put that. Words to wankers. That'd make a great radio show, Amanda. And she says it's why we are there. Parents need a good light. Yep. Heartbreaking. Yep. I hear you. All of that stuff is. Let's see. And I'm right there with you. Everybody put a little thought out for Electra, for Amanda, for Patch, for Walter. Not that you guys all feel like you're cases that need Oh, I don't want to be, but take it for what it is. If you make mention of it, I feel that there were some difficulties, or it was slow, or it was a little kind of a dark day, or it was problems and so on. If you mention that to us, it means that's you reaching out and saying, "Hey, hear me, listen to what I have to say." Um, uh, and so we did, and we will. And so there's a lot of stuff that goes on. One thing I have really started to learn over the years is that people don't so much want to hear about my stuff, my medical problems, my family problems, my job problems, my money problems. And we all have it. And, where we talk freely, a lot of that stuff slips out over the years, but over the month. And, but I don't go out of my way to do that so much. You know why? And I see a lot of people do it on Facebook. And the reason I shy away from that a bit, sometimes you make mention, it's like, go do something else. So well, I realized that you said everybody's got stuff going on all the time. Even people that have it all together on the outside have stuff going on all the time. And so it's really difficult sometimes to talk about my own talk about issues because I make them into stories. I want to tell stories about things, points I'm trying to make, or messages I want to get across, and I'll talk about my stuff in the middle of it because I think the story can be a poignant word picture or an illustration of a point I'm trying to make. And yet there are times where it can come across too sing-songy, too poor me, too all of that. So, and the reason I don't like doing it is because everybody's got it. And so sometimes it helps, and sometimes it's like, how much energy do we all have to put out for other people when we're in the midst of it? And sometimes it's good for us. We're in the midst of our own crap, and we put out a little heart for somebody else. And that means a lot. And it means a lot to us when we do it. It means a lot to the person when they hear it. But at the same time, there are times, I'll be honest, there will be times I see stuff from people and I'm just like, I got nothing to give today. And some of you out there that feel that same way. I got nothing to give today sometimes. And sometimes that's okay because we all got stuff. So, Amanda says, Scotty, you just have the balls to sit in front of a camera. So thank you, champ. I appreciate that. Yeah, I'm okay with that. I'm a pretty public guy. When I got my start in doing ministry, you get up in front of people. I was always in front of the youth groups, the teenagers, trying to be hip, with them, and trying to do the right things with them, and trying to be outgoing and gregarious, and there's not a successful youth pastor out there, I think, that's mealy mouthed and can't talk and too quiet in nature. You got to be up. You got to be up for kids, and that really formed my ministry days. And then I'll tell you something. You know what really helped me in business, selling, putting my business forward, speaking in church, things like that. When I did those things, it was because it was part of the Minnesota Renaissance Festival. And when you go out on the street every day and your job is to walk around and ad lib theater while you're out there, that was a great way. It was a great mode of performance that turned from entertaining performance to entertaining performance in business. And so those things are I found that the Renaissance Festival was one of the greatest places for it. You basically figure out what you're going to talk about. Say, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go wander the streets today, bump into 20,000 patrons who are coming to be entertained. And we're going to walk around in costume and swagger, and we're going to say this and say that. And and this is how we developed being able to look people in the eye and talk to them, on the street. And so that's what we did. Or people came up and asked you. And, we'd have on Scottish days where we'd wear our kilts. You always had the female patron who's a little bit in her cups would come up to you and say, "Tee, what's a real Scotsman wear under his kilt?" We got that question 100 times a day. And so you came up with all different kinds of answers. And so, what's a Scotsman wear under his kilt? And I'd look down and I'd say, "Why, my socks and shoes, of course, lass." Or, well, what color lipstick you wearing? Things like that. And so all of that, being on the street as an entertainer for 7 weekends out of the summer, was something that really helped me in business and helped me to talk. So to your point directly again, Amanda B. Yeah, I can get on the radio and talk. You should come on and talk with us sometimes. Well, let's get you on the radio, Amanda. Let's see. You're going to be moving to Atlanta? Like Atlanta, Georgia, United States, down south, down below the Mason-Dixon line. Is that where you're going? Pshaw. So what's going to take you to Atlanta, Amanda? Let's see. Who else we got? We got a lot of people in here that have been talking. Leslie, how you doing? Good to see you. What's Leslie say? Yes, I'm still live. Leslie, I'm still live. Let's see. Things are so negative. You're right. Kids need a positive up message whenever they can get it. You're absolutely right. And it's easy to be, when you're a parent, sometimes easy to run over your kids. When things are tight or the situation is, the day isn't going so good, or you're pent up about this or that or the other thing, or the kids all one after another are having issues and making known to you. It's sometimes not easy to be calm and cool and be that voice they need to hear. You can become that teacher telling them the voice they don't need to hear at times. And sometimes you got to catch yourself with that. And you know what? It's okay to admit that. Amanda, you say you and the boys are having a huge move. Do you know people in Atlanta? I'm just curious. You don't have to say anything. It's just curiosity. What would bring you from Australia to Atlanta? And Atlanta is probably a place I wouldn't personally want to move. Just, it's too cosmopolitan for me. It's like a bigger version of Minneapolis. So let's see. What else we got? I'm just looking to see what you guys got. What's going on? All right. Let's do a little 3-card reading for someone. First one up. We'll do it. So we'll do a 3-card reading tonight. So let me know if you want one and we'll go. And Ruth, your niece lives near Atlanta. Yeah, I know a lot of people in Atlanta. Delaney says me. Electra says moi. So I'll do both of you tonight. Look at that. Look at the stamina I have. So I got a lot more me's coming in. So hold your me's. Let's see. Let's do Delaney and then Electra. Let's see what we get tonight, huh? How about that? And while we do this, I want to give you just a little bit of a self-advertisement. I do tarot readings, and I do them for pay. And that helps me keep my lights on and pay my bills, too. So I'm not just a charlatan out there selling snake oil. I hope you've heard enough of my readings that you get the idea of how I do readings. So if you want to get a reading, go over to my website. It's not scrolling down there right now. It's just my ScottAllenRoberts.com, and you can go /tarot. or just go to scottallenroberts.com, click on the tarot link. It's in the text links near the top. And you can pick up a tarot reading there. And be sure to, and somebody, I have to make this announcement. If you're out there, somebody paid me for a 5-card reading just yesterday or the day before. I'm trying to think of the name now, but off the top of my head, but you gave me your mailing address, but I don't have a contact email or number for you. So if you could recontact me with your number, you know who you are. You bought a 5-card reading just yesterday, I think, in the morning. Might have been the night before. Get a hold of me and let me know how I can get a hold of you so we can line up a good time. I don't want to have to mail you a letter in the U.S. Post. So anyway, here we go. Delaney, let me do a little 3-card reading for you. And this is just kind of a mini snapshot. It'll kind of show you what I do. It'll show you a little snapshot of what things might look like. I like doing the 1-card readings. They're great. But when you start getting more cards into the reading, it kind of spills it out a little more for you and starts to lay it out. So when I do a 5-card or a 10-card reading, they give you a lot more information. So I like it when the cards start to modify each other. So Delaney, if you were here, I would have you cut the deck. And so I'm going to do that for you right now. Here we go. All right, Delaney, I'm going to pull out 3 cards for you, tell you what they are, and then we'll read them. First card you've got is the Empress. This is your current state, your current situation. This is where you are right now. Your recent past, or the foundation to this matter, is going to be the 9 of Swords. All right? And your future outcome, what you're going into, is almost the complete opposite of the 9 of Swords. It's the 10 of Cups. All right. And if you know tarot, any of you, you know kind of where these cards are going and what they're talking about and what, what their meanings are. But let's do this. Let's take the first card. It's the Empress. It's from your, from the Major Arcana. That's what I was going to say. This is where you are right now, Delaney. This is who you are right now, what your situation is. And it might not be all-encompassing. It could be a tiny situation you're dealing with. Or it could be everything you're dealing with right now encompassed in this one little snapshot. And now keep in mind, folks, and Delaney too, tarot reading could look totally different tomorrow or the next day. But this is where you are right now, and this is reading where you are right now. So the Empress card, this is a card that says the last opportunity you had is proving its influence on you right now. The Empress tends to be, she has this look of being pregnant. It's not literal pregnancy. It's fertility, fertile, creative, new, great ideas, opportunities, things like that. And in your very current last opportunity you've invested yourself in is proving its influence on you right now. Now, influence, that's a tricky way to say that, because influence on you doesn't always necessarily mean it's good influence. It can be bad influence, but its influence is showing on you right now, the opportunities. And whether it's business or personal or artistic, there's some kind of new partnership that's going to require your continued efforts in order to make it succeed. Your most resourceful behaviors are what you have to rely on right now, but especially your discipline. This is all about the very real possibility that some new opportunity is coming on top of the opportunities that have brought you to this place. All right? It's pregnant, it's fertile, it's a great idea, but it's going to take everything you have, all your discipline in life, to make it do what it's supposed to do. rather than you can't just, be a rudderless ship out there in the storm, so to speak. And so there might be this new beginning that's starting to unfold before you, and you have to decide its quality, what it's going to do for you. I get a picture in my head, and when I get these, I have to say them. There is it might seem kind of funny, but maybe you and other people remember this. Do you remember the animated film Treasure Planet? And it was based on, of course, Robert Louis Stevenson's Treasure Island. And it was all done in space in an animated cartoon. But some very poignant messages in that. And when I think about this, only you can, this is where this word picture, this image came into my head when I said something about it being, it's you who decides the quality of whatever this new beginning is going to be and how it unfolds. I remember in that movie that the Long John Silver character says to Jim Hawkins, he says to him, Jim Hawkins is discouraged and depressed, and he thinks he's done wrong. And Long John Silver says, only you, he says, can, you got to set the cut of your jib, he says, and only you, can set your course. He says, don't let others set your course for you. You've got to set your course. And then he says to him one of those most poignant things, my son at one time was going through some problems and some hard times, my teenage son. And I told him what Long John Silver said next. He said, one of these days, and I'm paraphrasing, he says, you're going to shine like the stars. And he says, I'm going to be there to bask in it when it happens. And so this is the idea with this, is set the course of your jib. Plot your course. Follow it. And because only you can decide its quality. And you have to have understanding. You have to be sensitive to the emotional aspects of your life, the things going on around your life, the people who are influencing your life. You could run into a situation where a loved one or somebody you know very closely needs your helping hand, or they need you to be the light in the dark for them. And the role is yours to fill no matter how you choose to play it out. And so the future with this card, this is not the future card I laid, but the future aspect of this card is one that says you're going to bring the healing. Healing is going to be brought to you, respite for your emotions, your physical wounds. You're going to spend time walking on new paths that are going to be more beneficial than mending bridges. Your investments pay off if you care to them and you carefully tend to them. Investments doesn't always mean money. These are things you put yourself and pour yourself into. And so the Empress, she stands for all things motherly. She's nurturing. She's a loving problem solver. She indicates successful business ventures, new ideas, positive, productive opportunities that are coming. And she says, really, you're moving on to full potential in something. So this is your current situation. Your recent past is the Nine of Swords. Now, the Nine of Swords, I said it the other night when we did some readings, Nine of Swords is definitely a bleak card in the deck. And if you look at the picture, it's got somebody sitting in bed. The swords are hanging over their head. They're in discouragement and a little despair, despondency. The dog is growling at them there. And so the idea with this card is that you might be feeling what's leading you into this card of opportunities you've had that are being fulfilled or have run their course, and you got to develop new and set the course of your jib and all of that. You might be feeling unfulfilled in the recent past. This is the card that's brought you into your current. And you're suffering from feelings of maybe repression or situational depression. You've got stifled creative energy. And it's interesting that the Empress is the card of creative energy, fertile creative energy. And so you've been feeling creatively kind of stifled. Now she's going to bring that in your current. So don't miss out on the present moment because of your stubborn disapproval of the past, the things that didn't go right. So the difficulty that you have is going to be shouldered, that you're shouldering now, is going to be something that's going to be lifted from you soon enough. And your feelings of depression, mental distress, all of that stuff is stuff you need to deal with. And that's where I think this Empress card comes in your current, right after this. And the standards that you've set for yourself, Delaney, may be unreasonable. They might steer you toward self-loathing, disappointment, repressive feelings, situational problems like that. And there's a strong message in this card that you have to be able to forgive yourself and others in order to move past your negative feelings. And the idea with this too is that all of our negative feelings, our anxieties, I said this the other night, are usually 10 times worse than the things we think they're going to be. So your recent past, that's what epitomized your recent past, but that energy plopped you off in your current, the Empress. All right? And now that's going to lead you to the 10 of Cups, which is actually a really nice card. Cups, of course, being the suit of your passions, the things you devote yourself to, it could be relationships, romances, things like that. And the idea with this is now, after those first two cards I read, you're already moving into your future. And by taking confidence in the direction that you're planning and the one that you follow, setting that course of your jib, your deepest convictions, you've been propelled forward. These are the things that move you. And this commitment and your comfort with authority have allowed room for recognition and success to manifest for you. And by comfort with authority, I mean comfort with your authority, you being yourself being the authority. Excuse me. See, I start talking after a whole day. Wear down my throat a little bit. And I'm a little stuffy. So still with this card too, the 10 of Cups. It's like the creative energy of the Empress, a new undertaking is on you. You're stepping into it now. It's about to begin for you. The task, the event, the journey, all of this stuff is going to bring about the beginning of a long-lasting, either a business relationship or a friendship or possibly a romance. I don't know. I don't know if you need romance in your life right now, but it's something that's strong and passionate for you. And don't miss the opportunity. And this card has with it really the potential of some financial success that might present itself. See, this has got this beautiful family. They're all happy. You got the rainbow of golden goblets in the sky arcing above your head. This is like this fulfillment of all these things that you want, in one respect or another. And either you find domestic happiness through whatever all this is about, or you gain prestige in your public work. Despite the difficulty, balancing both is possible for you. So this is harmonious. Abundance, happiness is what this card is about. So there you go. I hope that rings true for you. I hope it makes sense. So, and that it was good for you. There you go. All right. So you got some new creative energy. Don't let the past junk get you down. You're moving into some good stuff. That sounds like it makes sense. All right. Let's see. What am I missing in here? I'm going to do Electra next. But before I do, I just want to look back at some of the conversation going on here. See, Jimmy's in the room. Good to see ya. You need just a bit more money. Yeah, Delaney, I know how that goes. Ideas are, there's lots of incredible ideas out there that die on the vine because there's no money to put them forward. So this is saying you've got some opportunities and possibly meeting somebody that might have something to do with that. Jeremy Hansen, how you doing, brother? Good to see you. Merry Christmas. So my nose itches. So Jay Collins, good to see you. Sean, good to see you. Let's see who else we got here. Amanda's Christmas tree, very nice. Barbara, nice to see you. Let's see. Walter, you ask intuitive reflection or projection? Are you asking me if I think it's one or the other? Projection? Sometimes I wonder. I look at card readings and I think, is this meant for me? And sometimes I look up at them and say, I wish that was meant for me. Intuition, it comes from the cards. So I always like to say the cards are my positive crutch. I don't have to think of this stuff. It comes out in the cards. So let's see. What did you say there, Delaney? 10,000 videos. And I see the people I've hollered doing what I told them to do. There you go. There it is. So let's see. What else we got here? Yeah, if you've got something really important I need to say, put it in caps. Like Delaney does all the time. She says her Spirits in Action playlist on YouTube. She needs some feedback from you folks. Go check her out. Let's see who we got next here. Let's move on. I know I said I'd do Electra next, so let's do Electra right now. Electra, front and center, young lady. Here we go. Hey, Susie Q, how you doing? LOL, hello to you. So, your nose itches when a spirit is with you. You got lots of videos of orbs flying out of me. My nose itches when I have a nose hair or something. So I don't know if that's necessarily a spirit, but maybe it can be manifesting something. So here we go. All right, Electra, this one's for you. Let me shuffle up here. All right. And that's once and twice. You know, I've had nothing to drink today, alcohol-wise, but I feel like I'm drinking a lot of wine today or something. Maybe it's from sitting around watching Lost in Space for 10 hours. Let's see. Number 3. All right, Electra, if you were here, I'd have you put your hand to the deck and cut it. But since you aren't, I will cut it for you. Boom. Boom and boom. All right, we're all ready to roll. Here we go, Electra, front and center. No, it's not, Ruth. No, it's not. All right, your first card, Electra. The 2 of Coins is your first card. That's your current situation. Your recent past is the 9 of Coins. All right. And your near future is the Ace of Cups. So you got 2 coins out of 3. There's some financial stuff going on, some stuff that has to do with your material well-being. The 2 of Coins, I've always seen this card as being kind of the investor card, or not the investor. It's that you're doing the work that will get recognized by the investor is kind of the idea with this. And it's the 2 of Pentacles or the 2 of Coins. And you can see this guy here. He's got the figure 8 with the 2 coins in it. He's wearing the mortarboard kind of thing, the scholar thing. And you've been kind of confronted in your current with the idea of either starting something new or beginning something new. And in order to succeed, you have to learn to balance all your old practices with the new. It's something where you're coming out of something old that you've got to start to bring into. How am I trying to say this? It's the old stuff that you've been used to doing or a place you used to be, and you're finding there's something new now, and you can bring that over and incorporate things to make things work for you. Because something new is on your doorstep right now. It's in the present. It's right now. It's your current situation. And it's a change for the better. And this is coming via some information that's being communicated to you. You're going to receive some good counsel on something. And I would say prudent counseling, which is better than good counseling. I can get good counseling. I want prudent counseling when it comes to my finances or my business or stuff like that. And this counseling is going to really encompass kind of the path and the course through your fluctuating states right now, because things have been roller coaster-ish. And so things are fluctuating. And what you want is solid. You want things to stabilize. And this is a card that says you're really doing that if you keep, and the purpose of the infinity symbol there that are wrapped around the coins is that you are finding balance between all of this stuff. And you have to really start determining your most valuable strengths. And those are the things that can help you really communicate opportunities for yourself. Hi, wife. She's wandering in and she covers her face because she thinks I won't see her. She doesn't want to be distracting. And so there's a road out of your ambivalence if you put your mind to it, if you think about it. Because this is saying there might be a little, you're ambivalent to the things that got you here, or how to turn the thing into that thing and make something new. This is saying that you have to create those opportunities, and the opportunities are there. It's like a vocal call out of the woods saying, this thing's going on for you right now. And I still hear the doorknob. Don't give it away. And so don't let the ambivalence, in the future be something that takes you off track. And this is movement. This card is about movement, balance. It's growth through change, changing from one thing to another thing. It suggests the possibilities of fluctuating wealth. And wealth doesn't necessarily mean wealthy. Wealth is the stuff that comes in and goes out. And it's likely going to require some juggling on your part, or putting the plates on the sticks and spinning them, trying to keep them all spinning at the same time. That's the idea of the Two of Coins. So you got some new possibilities that are coming that are probably already on your doorstep, because this is the card of your current situation. Now you got the Nine of Coins, this one, which is your recent past, or the foundation to this matter. Remember in the Two of Coins, I said it's like coming out of something that was good, that now you got new opportunities. And it's not necessarily saying there was a dip in that and you've got to bring it back up, or it's something that met its end and you got to start new, but something new is coming along. It's going to kind of revive you in the process if you make the right choices. And this is telling me in the past, your foundation is that you've already earned by your achievements. You've achieved certain things that you set out to do. And this is saying you've earned experience from those things. And this is in the coins. So there is definitely a financial or a material well-being aspect to that. And through the rewards of, I don't know, recent projects, or which might not yet be obvious, you're going to receive abundantly for your work. It's going to kind of set you up for what you do. And I always fear giving messages like that of, you're going to be set up and you're going to be wealthy. That's not what this is saying. It's saying if you play your cards right, if you do the right thing, if you plan your work your plan, all of those kinds of cliches that go with doing good business. There are some things that you're going to see rewards from because they're things that you put yourself to. And this is a card of the recent past. So this is saying this is something that's already been kind of happening or has happened as a foundation to going where you're going now. So it's kind of the solutions that you've been seeking start arriving. And it relieves you of the stress that's associated with your problem, whatever your problem might be in this. And there's new challenges waiting. And you have to dispel your feelings of dissatisfaction, of being detached from the things that brought you to that place once, and that you want to reinvigorate, so to speak. And there's a void you've got going on. And you're experiencing that void. And it's not going to be remedied by challenges, but the rewards are going to help you to be content. All right? This is a bringing of contentment in your recent past. And you either fully got there and there was a gap, or this has been building, and that's leading to these kind of new opportunities where you got to bring balance to them and you got to make stuff happen, which is very interesting because now it's bringing you into the card of your near future, which is the Ace of Cups. And the aces in this particular deck are all represented by angels. And these angels are deliverers, they're messengers. They're the ones standing with the open door for you. And this is in cups, which has to do with your relationships, your passions, the things you devote yourself to on a very passionate level. And there's been numerous opportunities that prove your creative talent, your ability to succeed at the efforts, at the things you put yourself and your mind to. And by being passionate and intensely focused, you've allowed for greater productivity. And this card is saying in the very near future, very good news is going to bring joy, extreme satisfaction to you. It's like I say of these angels, they all open the doors, these aces in the decks, standing before an open door. They can't push you through. They can't pull you through. All they can do is, there it is. There it is, darling. Go through the open door because the opportunity is there. And if you do it and do the right things, the difficulties you face in the future might take a toll on your emotions, but in the end, it's going to bring about really a lot of joy and happiness for you. And I like to separate joy and happiness. I saw somebody put up online the other day something about they thought they were being very smart about a topic, and they said, well, we all know that money is the root of all evil. Well, no, that's not the way the phrase goes. The saying says, the love of money is the root of all evil. Money's okay. There's nothing wrong with getting money, with getting ahead, with making your way, and making good at it. There's nothing wrong with having reward, especially for the hard work you put out there. So money is not the root of all evil. Perhaps the love of it, the ambition for it, the willing to be the juggernaut that will roll over anybody in the way to get there is the thing that is maybe the cause of the evil they speak of. So right now, this is really telling you you've got some good stuff coming your way. You've had a pretty good foundation to rely on, to fall back on, but you've really got to apply yourself in almost this entrepreneurial way. Find balance because you're going to have several things going that need balancing. And there's an open door laying in front of you out here in the near future. That all of this stuff with the near future readings, I always say they're mutable. They're changeable, meaning they're there now. You're already stepping into that. Might not be there 2 days from now. So it's the idea of taking the opportunity and making it work for you, whatever that might be. All right, Electra, I hope that makes sense. It's always hard when it comes to these coins things because
For me, I look at coins and I see them as material nuts and bolts as opposed to necessarily wealth or riches, although they can mean those things. It just means that you've come out of having experienced some, going into a time right now, right on top of you, that says you got to really prove your mettle, invest, new opportunity, keep the plate spinning, find balance in it, and it leads to the open door, which is you're already passing into. So there you go. I hope that helps. Hope it's meaningful. All right. So there you go. Yeah. Let me move back a bit here and see what people are saying and what people are up to here. Oh yeah, there's a solar eclipse going on. Indisha. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name. Let's see. Are you and Rocky going live tonight? No, Jake Collins, we are not, Jimmy. We are not going live tonight. It's Christmas night. I think Rocky took a night off. I said I'm going to come in and do something live tonight. Rocky's all with family and stuff like that. So, and I hear my wife is still going strong with the kids out there, the little ones. Now they're all making noise and laughing, so they must be watching something. But so no, Rocky and I are not. Dog is right outside my door. So let's see. What else we got? Any more eggnog? A noggin scotch. Roger Rabbit, I might be tucked away hiding from my family to be with my real intrepid family. Intrepid family. Nice to see you, Roger. Let's see. What else we got? Sean says, Barbara, come over tomorrow. There you go. Message delivered. Gotta pay the bills. What we got going in here? Very nice, says Teresa. Patch, Walter. Electra says, nice. I don't know if you're talking about me or what somebody else said. Let's see. Joyce says, Merry Christmas. How you doing, Joyce? Indica. Indica. It's got an I and a D-I-C-A. Makes me go Dika. Dika. Duca, though? There you go. All right. Well, anybody else? What has anybody else got to talk about tonight? Anything you want to talk about? We've been going a little over an hour. And you're welcome, Electra. Hope it helped. Hope it was meaningful. Let's see. Yeah, I'd asked early what's y'all's favorite Christmas. Easy for me to say. Your favorite Christmas movie. We talked about that a little earlier, Jimmy. So if anybody's watching Christmas movies, I'm not big on Christmas movies. I don't know. They all seem to me to be too Hallmarky. Whenever I see a Christmas movie, it's like, oh my God. Here we go. Hallmark actors, Hallmark plot, Hallmark this, Hallmark that. And I get tired of those. So National Lampoon's Christmas is pretty good, though. That's a good one, Barbara. I can't think of anything else. What else do I break out in the movie realm for Christmas? I don't know. There's probably movies that have Christmas in them that we'll all go, okay, that's Christmas. Like I said, Die Hard. Ends Christmas movie. All right. Christmas Vacation is hard to beat. That's very true. All right. Should we do one more reading tonight? One more 3-card? Who's up? Who would like a 1-card reading? Or a 3-card reading, I'm sorry, right now. Let's do one more. Then we'll call it quits on the readings. Let's see. You had a Christmas Story marathon on all day long. That's cool. You know, I used to like to watch for marathons. I like to watch the old classic series. Like I liked Bulldog Drummond, and some of those old things, The Thin Man, things like that. Ruth Esther says, me? Let's do it, Ruth. You and me right now. Let's read you. Scrooged is pretty good. Yeah. Like I said earlier, the new Christmas story, Christmas Carol, Dickens' Christmas Carol with Guy Pearce came out not long ago, the other day maybe even. That was a pretty good movie, new version of that. All right, Ruth, let's shuffle up for you a couple more times. Let's see what's going on for Ruth here tonight. All right. One more. Here you go, Ruth. If you were here, I'd have you cut it. I'm going to cut it for you on your behalf. And here we go. All right, Ruth. Here's your Christmas Day reading. All right, well, we've got a card that we already had once already tonight, just now. We got the 9 of coins. That's your current situation. That's your current. Your near past, your foundation is the Magician. And your near future is the Fool. So you got 2 cards from the major arcana, the Magician and the Fool. And I want to say this is almost like God, the universe, your angels snapping their fingers in your face, saying, listen to this. There's an important message for you in here. The 9 of coins, of course, has to do with your material well-being, that you have made it to a certain place where, oops, let's see, I think I almost shut down my chat room here. Let me just type something in here to make sure it stays there. Whew! I hit something. I thought I shut it down. And so this is a card that, of course, the coins have to do with your material well-being. It could be finances. It could just be the things that make life work for you right now. And so the 9 of coins, see, there's this beautiful woman. She's sitting with the hawk on her arm, the big viola in the background, and she's sitting in a beautiful garden. And it's about accomplishments. It's about, and we just talked about this in the last reading. It's about pleasures that you've experienced because you've earned them by your achievements. But I've also heard about this card, which didn't come up in the last reading in my mind, but and maybe Electra, maybe you can listen to this too. That 9 of coins in your recent past, and you, Ruth, in your present. 9 of coins can mean you've got this beautiful walled garden that you've built, but sometimes walled gardens can be prisons too, and you're stuck inside of that. So maybe it's the things you've done in the past that have brought you to this place in your current, your achievements, your experiences have brought you here. And though the rewards of these things in your life aren't always obvious quite yet, this is saying that they're gonna become obvious pretty soon. And so, but this is in your current, so this is happening to you right now. You've been looking for solutions to things that are going to make things work better for you. And there might be some stress associated with this. It's hopefully going to start vanishing away now in your current. But there's new challenges. There's things waiting for you. There might be this dissatisfaction of being in the walled garden. I got to do more. I got to go to the next step. I got to change things out a little bit. Kick down a hole in the wall in the garden and make something better happen. And so this is your current situation. This is where you are. And of course, that's metaphoric talk, the whole walled garden thing. But it's like it's becoming a void. There's a gap in there that you're experiencing. And it's not being remedied by the normal things that would remedy it. So you got to move on. You got to move into something else. It's a card of movement, going places, financial security, wealth security, being rewarded for your efforts in business or important projects or things like that. That's your current situation right now. Now, the card of your past is the Magician card. And I love this card. This is a card that says that you have the ability in you already. You're already the magician. We all have that in us. But that the magician is somebody who is able to take all the things that are working around him in the world. If you see all these different things, his shelf of alchemical spells and birds and different things happening in the world and all of this stuff that's going on around him, that you have the ability to pick and choose out of nature, to pluck the things out that you need to create the spell to get the desired result that you want. And of course, this can be literal, but I'm thinking it's also very metaphoric in your situation. It's all about your confidence, your creativity. These are the things that have allowed you to effectively make all of your ideas into reality, or the ones that are the most important to you. And you found a little bit of success through your intelligence, your skillful execution. You're being able to manipulate the things around you to work the way you need them to work for you. And in the very present with this, even though this is the card of the foundation, so it's the past bringing you into the present, there is a need for you to acknowledge your skills, to acknowledge the knowledge you have, and to recognize that you have the ability to change and incorporate change in the things that are occurring around you. In order to make changes beneficial, you have to play your cards right. You have to be diplomatic. You have to manipulate and harness the things around you and make them work. And by manipulate, I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean grabbing them and making them work the way you need them to work. And the future is a little bit uncertain. It presents you risk, but it also presents you opportunity. And the possibilities are going to be influenced by the friendships you have and that you've nurtured. And hold on. Whew. Sorry about that. Maybe that's why my nose was itching a little earlier. The possibilities will be influential by the friendships you've nurtured, by the support you have, by all the elements of all the things that you pulled together to have them happen the way you need them to happen. And it's a triumph in a way. It's a triumph of creative success that could bring about these new beginnings for you. And the magician is this symbol of action and power in your life. And its positive connotations really start to illustrate in you someone who is I was going to say smooth talker, but that can sometimes have a negative connotation. I mean that you're able to say things the way you need to say them. You're able to do the things you need to do. And you're good at the aspects of communication that you need to make things happen. And so this suggests using your strong will and your power, your willpower, to move forward, to take action. Now, this is the card of your past. This is your foundation to this matter, which says you're entering this time of, you got the magician as the recent past. All these things are harnessing the energy to make things do, and leading you into being this woman who is experiencing fulfillment, but also needs to expand that into some new things. And all of that leads you into the card of your near future, which is the Fool. Well, more than near future, let's call it the card of the outcome. This is a card that we had this the other night too when we were doing it. It's got the Fool is walking down the road, whistling a happy tune, looking at pictures in the clouds, dreaming about his forward progression, his movement. He's transitioning. That's what the Fool card is, moving into something else. But the Fool is somebody who doesn't look where his feet are falling. He doesn't look at the pitfalls. He doesn't take the precautions necessary. And even while the little dog is warning him, hey, your next footstep is going to take you off the edge of the cliff, he's still got his head in the clouds. And so the risks that you've taken. And your original thinking has brought you to some modicum of success. And by doing things in a new way, you've allowed for a lot of great potential. But at this moment, you're entering a new phase. You're transitioning into something. And the experience of this change might seem, I don't know, good or bad for now. It doesn't matter. The idea is that you're transitioning to something, and its influence is going to be a little clearer in the future, but you've got to assess the risks for yourself. And assessing risks is absolutely crucial to making the right choices. And so in order to succeed, you have to find new ways to bring about the achievement of your goals. And you have to look to being common sense. You have to look at where your feet are going. You have to take the right precautions. Take the risks by all means, but take the risks by looking where your feet fall. And when the opportunity comes, you have to be willing to shed old habits. And if it never comes, it might be time to create it for yourself with new methods. So this is all about, The Fool is all about new beginnings, carefree adventure. It's like whistling the happy tune as you're going. And it might indicate foolishness, though, meaning it could be more optimistic in the sense that it stands for pure actions and being free from the constraints of your present life. And more than likely, there's important decisions that you're going to have to, it might be risky for you, but you gotta set your mind in the right place and keep your eyes open. So there you go. There. I hope that helps. That's your near future of this, Ruth. So there you are. Let's see. All right, guys. That's about all I can do for readings tonight. So I hope you're satisfied with those. I hope you had a good time in here tonight, breaking a little bit free from the busyness of the last few days and the weeks leading up to today. That you have time to sit back, and thanks for joining me here. I really appreciate that. And I'd like to tell you, if you'd like to get a reading, go over to my website, scottallenroberts.com. Click on the tarot link, and there's a couple of readings there, PayPal buttons. Just click the one you want. Then send me your information, call me, send me an email or a message, and we'll get you lined up in the schedule. I got time this week, so if you want to do that, let's do that. So Julie McMurdy, Scotty, she says, I say, Julie, good to see you. And let's see if anybody's got any closing stuff to go on here. Not ready to just pull the plug yet, but let's we're working up to it. Can't do Sean S right now. Brain's a little too done for the night, Leslie. Maybe next time, or Sean can get a hold of me and we can do a reading for him. Him or her, Sean with a W. I'm trying to remember if Sean with a W is a man or a woman. So, Merry Christmas, Smoking Monkey. Good to see you. Let's see. Breaking Free from Madness. Says Teresa. Yeah, that's it at times too. Janice, good to see you. Ruth, I can do readings for myself. I haven't for a long time. I think the last reading I did that was revolved around myself was about 1.5 years ago. So I was down in Texas at the time. So there you go. Sometimes I do. Every now and then I think I need one. I had Jennifer did a beautiful reading for me a couple of weeks ago. And so I get readings on occasion. Sean, born a boy and staying a boy. That's my boy. Let's see. Patch asked who's doing what for New Year's. Well, a man now. Yeah, Sean, I get that. I'm still a boy, but I'm a man now too. So let's see. Anything else? I'm going to scroll back just a little bit to see if I missed anything really pertinent. Let's see. Sean, you asked a question earlier. My question was, a reader did all my friends and came to me, said they couldn't do a reading on me, something bad, or couldn't read me. Just shut it down. You know, mm, I can't speak for whatever that reader's situation was. I'll read anybody at any time. I never get a bad vibe off of anybody that says, ooh, can't read you. It's not that. Sometimes I get a bad vibe from myself. Like my brain is so fried. I can talk. Right now I'm talking. I'm not even thinking about half of what I'm saying. But concentration becomes a little more effort because my brain's about done for the day. That's about the only time I turn anybody down. I have turned people down when I think that I've had people come to me over and over and over and over again, and they would pay for readings over and over and over again, and they would ask me the same questions and want to have answers to the same questions. And I'd say, I remember there was a young lady that did that with me, and there was a point I told her, hey, you know what? I'm not going to do a reading for you today. You know why? I think you're becoming too reliant on this to try to answer questions that you've already are equipped to answer on your own. The tarot gives you information on the energies going on around you. You can't rely on it to tell you what to do. That's not the purpose of it. I find the tarot is really beneficial to read what's going on, to see the energies around you, sometimes to give you a little advice how to change something you're screwing up or to go with the flow of something. But Sean, I would say I'd read you right now if I had the energy left to do it. And it's energy on a different level. You know, it's my brain feels a little um I don't know, I could put a cap on it. So otherwise I'd do it tonight. But you can come on over, talk to me privately. We can get a reading done for you, or come on in another time when we're doing readings. Generally on Sunday mornings, we'll do readings, and you can come on over with that, and maybe we can read you on Sunday morning. So it's not a full reading, though. It's just like these have been, just a touch on them. So yeah, I'm brain fried, Jimmy. Not quite like having a concussion, but it's funny. There's a certain point when I do readings, there's times I could do dozens of them in a row. And then there's times where I'll do, it doesn't matter how many, 2 to 6 to 8 to 12. And it doesn't matter when it hits. There's a point when in the midst of the readings, you go, my eyes are going to shut. And that's literally what happens. My eyes start to feel really heavy. And then I go, that's it. You know, my brain's done. And so that's how I notice it when it happens. So anyway, let me move this over. Yeah, you can come on Sunday. Anybody, if anybody would like a reading, that's part of how I make my living too. So come on over and you can purchase a reading, and we'll set up a time for you. Just go to my website, scottallenroberts.com. Click on the tarot link. Also, I'm just going to give myself another little shameless plug. As most of you know, by trade, my entire life, 42 years of my professional career, since my high school days, other than my times in seminary, post-seminary, let's put it that way. Even during the times I was in ministry, I was also in advertising. I was an advertising creative. I was an art director, a creative director, an illustrator, designer, a photographer, all of those things of the creative, under that creative umbrella. And many of you know that's what I do for a living. I design logos. I design all kinds of stuff that needs designing, book cover designs, all kinds of ancillary product design, packaging design, stuff like that. And some people, you know, it's funny. we don't think about it. But even if I picked up this eraser, you know what? That's graphic design. Now, it's not expensive graphic design, but there is a logo in there that somebody once developed. And you lay out a little package, a little wrap package like that. And that takes an artist to do that, a graphic designer. So I do stuff as simple as that, down to things like this and all the illustrations you've seen me do. That's what I do for a living. So, Smoking Monkey says, could the heart meds and diabetes meds be doing it? Sometimes I think it does. But it's also, 10:30 here, and I got my start at about 5:30 this morning. So, it all depends. Maybe I'm just tired. I said to my doc once, I said, I said, I'm tired all the time. I said, I feel, heavy in the head. And he says, how are you sleeping? He says, maybe you're just not sleeping enough, which is true too. So, anyway, Ruth, you're welcome, by the way. She says, thank you for the reading. It was interesting. I'm going to go back and listen to it tomorrow on the way home from Mom's. All right, that sounds good. Julie, you were a sign writer in your younger days before graphic design came along. Yeah. The days then. I got my start in a print shop, a book publishing print shop, as a design artist in 1977. And when you see that, when you've been there in 1977 doing that kind of work, that's when we were kicking out type, sometimes using press type for headlines, kicking out type on a old typographer and using rubber cement and gluing it down, or hot wax and lining it all up, and then you got to take pictures of it in the litho machine. And now, of course, it's all computerized. So everything I do is digital when I come to that. I don't have any of that heartache anymore. Oh, rubber cement and hot wax. So thank you, Teresa, and same to you. I will, Smoking Monkey, and you take care of yourself too. Thank you very much. And thank you, Susie Q. And you started in 1984 doing signs for shops. So Julie, yeah, the era. I had been doing it for a few years before that, but you get the era when we were doing all this stuff. I was in the era of Rubylith and rubber cement, I like to say. So there we go. All right, folks. I think I'm going to kind of wrap this up. It's been an hour and a half of impromptu, shooting from the hip, doing a couple of readings. I want to thank you for being here. Tomorrow night at 9 p.m. Central, 10 p.m. Eastern, I'll be back with my regular show, the Intrepid Radio Show. For now, if you've got nothing to do and you're still up, I want you to go check this out. I'm just typing it in here. And go check out my website, and you can see what I do. Take a look at my stuff. Take a look at my About page, and you can see all the junk I do in life and all the fun stuff I do. You can go over there, and you can, I think I spelled that right, ScottAllenRoberts.com. Yes, I did. And you can see all the things I do. And have a little look over there. See what I'm all about. And boy, that's all I got. So let's call it quits for tonight. I'll see you here tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Central Standard Time, 10 p.m. Eastern Time, and of course, 8 p.m. Mountain Time, 7 p.m. West Coast Time. That's all in the United States. And of course, you go further in other directions. I think I'm on at 3 in the morning in Great Britain. So there you go. And then I'm on it at what? 5, what would it be? 11 a.m. in Australia. So there you go, Amanda. All right, guys. You have a good night. Yeah, I'll go get a drink. All right, Sean. You too. And sorry I couldn't get to other people tonight that would have liked a reading. Brains tapped. So you all have a good night. Have a very merry rest of your Christmas. And we'll see you tomorrow on the downslide to spring. And have a good night. Love you all. Thanks for being here. I appreciate it more than you know.